I gotta get ready. Okay. All right. Hey everyone. Welcome to today's episode of Disney WTF, where we talk about what's the fuss about Disney. I'm Richie. This is Lori. She's a Disney lover. I just don't really get it, but somehow we've made a way to make this relationship work.
Somehow. It's tougher every day.
Yes. All right. So, headlines.
Yeah, so first we're going to start with a couple headlines. So the first one really surprised me. They're adding an on-ride photo to Pirates of the Caribbean at Magic Kingdom.
An on-ride photo?
Yeah.
Oh, like so when you're there, you get like when you're on the ride. That's pretty cool.
So it's going to be right before the drop in the ride.
Okay.
And it's going to be disguised as like a lightning.
Which, fun fact, isn't the drop under the bridge? Or it goes under, didn't we learn that?
Oh yeah, we did.
So the drop in Pirates of the Caribbean is there's a drop because you're going under, is it under a bridge or underwater? Like, what is it? It's under something. If someone knows, let us know, please. Thanks.
Okay. And we just read about that a couple days ago. So I'm really upset for not remembering it. Okay. And then the second little piece of news that I have, they're adding souvenir vending machines to the resorts. It's very Japanese.
That's legit Japanese. I wonder if they probably already have that in Japan.
I don't know. Yeah. They might. So you can get autograph books, things for your magic band, all out of this vending machine.
Wow. Okay, cool. Will it be outside?
It's going to be inside the resort.
Inside the resort. Cool. Mm-hmm. Cool. Okay, so you can just shop whenever.
Yeah. That's funny. Because the shops do close in the resort hotels, so now you can just go get your autograph book whenever.
Yeah. Wow. Cool.
Yeah. Okay. So what's today's topic?
I think I've ridden this ride once. What is it called?
The Haunted Mansion.
The Haunted Mansion. Okay. I've ridden the Haunted Mansion once, and I was like, what is going on here? And then there was like a store for specifically Haunted Mansion, and then her brother, when we went to that store, was super excited about the store. And like, I've seen presents exchanged that were Haunted Mansion presents of Disney. So I just really want to get to the bottom. What is the fuss about Haunted Mansion?
And speaking of Haunted Mansion presents, I've actually gotten my brother and my dad Christmas presents that are Haunted Mansion themed several times.
Yeah, I've seen it.
And it's always a hit. I know I can't go wrong with coasters and or a little figurine of Haunted Mansion.
I think I've seen her dad at Christmas open up a present and like, oh my God, yes. I don't get it. I really don't get it. So please, let's get to it.
Okay, so first I wanted to review with you a little bit about the history of Haunted Mansion.
Okay.
Which I think you'll appreciate because Walt was involved.
Oh, okay, good.
So the idea was originally conceived when Walt was around by his Imagineers. And so the initial idea was going to be a rundown southern plantation house that was off of Main Street in Disneyland, and it was behind a graveyard, and it was just going to be this creepy house on a hill. But Walt didn't like the idea of a rundown house in his pristine park.
Huh.
So the idea, so the original design and idea of that design was kind of modified to suit that. Which you can kind of see now. It's still a little bit run down on the exterior, but it's still like very nice looking.
Okay.
And it was actually not going to be a ride. It was going to be a walkthrough. So you would walk through, and it was conceived as a museum of the weird, where there was going to be creepy things and gypsy type mementos and articles like that. So that's where the ideas kind of jumped off of.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it turned into a haunt. So now it's a mansion, like a nice mansion, not just like a rundown house.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Cool.
So, but it's interesting because even in the version today of the exterior, you still see that the rose plants they're maintained because they're still living in some way, but they're trimmed in such a way where they're very, very creepy looking.
Okay.
Yeah, they're very viney.
So what sort of connection does the Haunted Mansion have, like, outside of Disney? For example, is there a movie, is there a TV show, or like, was it inspired by something else, or what?
The ride was the original concept that inspired movies, and I don't know if there was a TV. I don't think there was a TV show. Okay. But so the movie that came out, all the souvenirs.
So is there a movie
all from the ride.
So is there a movie, The Haunted Mansion, from Disney?
Yes.
Okay.
Starring Eddie Murphy.
Oh, I think I've seen that. Oh my God. Okay, I think I've actually seen that movie. Okay. Or I might have maybe seen like maybe like a preview of it, but I didn't know it was tied to that ride. Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was not a hit. I think I saw, when I was Googling Haunted Mansion, it came up as like a 29% on Rotten Tomatoes. It didn't do well.
Wow, okay. but the ride came first. So similar to Pirates of the Caribbean, the ride came first.
Exactly.
Cool.
And so an interesting thing about the actual ride system in the Haunted Mansion, it's called an Omnimover. And that was a system that was developed by the Imagineers at Disney. And when you're riding it, and the Doom Buggy is what it's officially called in the Haunted Mansion, a Doom Buggy, because it's doom and gloom.
Okay.
Is it angles you in certain ways so that you actually turn with the ride. Have you noticed that?
We'll have to check on the next ride.
That's okay.
Yeah.
But the reason why they do that is because they wanted to create almost like a movie experience so that they can direct your attention.
Oh, I do remember we got to like a place and I felt like I turned and like I saw the scene. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, I remember that. I do remember that.
So they direct your attention literally to what they want you to see. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And now that system is used in a lot of different rides, not just the Haunted Mansion. So Buzz Lightyear, with the guns, the laser guns.
Yes,
so it's used there. Peter Pan. So it's used all across the park in various rides.
Okay. Do you know if there's a like Haunted Mansion in other parks, or is it only in?
I'm so glad you asked.
Okay.
Because I wanted to talk to you about this.
Okay.
So it actually is in a lot of parks. So obviously Disneyland, where the first one was, where it's in New Orleans Square.
So I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, so New Orleans Square, that was the first Haunted Mansion. That was where the original one is. And speaking of New Orleans, so you know how I said it was a plantation house? Mm-hmm. So New Orleans is in the south, plantation house. Anyways.
Okay.
I wasn't sure if you
I see the connection.
Okay. And then Magic Kingdom. It's also in Tokyo Disneyland.
Okay.
Which we might go on in the future. It's in Disneyland Paris, where it's actually called Phantom Manor. It's not called Haunted Mansion, but it's the same thing. There it's located in Frontierland, I believe. And then Hong Kong Disneyland as well, where it's called Mystic Manor.
Oh, okay. So they have different names. That's cool. Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder if they have different, like the stores. I wonder what the stores are like.
That I'm not sure of. I can't speak to that because I've only been to that.
It's so specific, we'd have to go into the store.
But you know what's interesting? In each of these parks where the Haunted Mansion is located in, whatever form it is, they're in different lands. They're not all in the same land. So Disneyland in California is New Orleans Square. Mm-hmm. Magic Kingdom is Liberty Square. Mystic Manor in Hong Kong is Mystic Point.
Cool.
Phantom Manor in Disneyland Paris is in Frontierland. And then in Tokyo Disneyland is in Fantasyland.
That's so crazy. I wonder why they wouldn't want to just make it like...
But that's what I'm trying to
uniform.
say. But you know what? Well, I mean, obviously the parks can't be too uniform, especially when you're talking about putting it in different countries, because some things might not appeal as much to the consumer abroad as they would here. Mm-hmm. But it kind of is interesting that the Haunted Mansion can translate into all these different themed lands. Mm-hmm. Because at the end of the day, it's a scary, dark ride. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Speaking of scary, though, how scary do you think it is?
It was not very scary. I mean, it's a little creepy to think about, but it wasn't like terrifying. I was a bit weirded out. I was like, why is this here in Disney?
Why do you think why were you weirded out?
Because I'm at Disney and also at a haunted mansion. It just there was no connection for me. So that's why I was just...
Well, I mean, I've always thought the Haunted Mansion was scary. I am a scaredy cat in general. I don't like scary movies.
Yeah, neither do I, by the way.
In the last scary movie I watched, I was so creeped out for days. What was it? The Autopsy of Jane Doe. Oh, so creepy. I was creeped out for days. I can't do it. Mm-hmm. And anything... I don't like dark rooms for that very reason, because you never know what's lurking in the corner. Mm-hmm. And that's why the Haunted Mansion for me, even as an adult, although it creeps me out a little less because I've been on it a zillion times, it still creeps me out. Do you want to know the scariest part of the ride for me?
What is it?
So you're kind of going through a hallway corridor, and in the corner, it's not even one of the main points of the ride. In the corner, there's an exit way. Like, it's literally an emergency exit. So it has the sign and everything, but all it's covered by is a curtain. And they blow a little bit of air in the corner of the curtain so that it just flows. And it's the creepiest part of the ride for me, because you just don't know what's behind that curtain, and it's not even a main point of the ride.
Like, is it even an exit?
An exit to doom, maybe.
Yeah. Like, I wonder if there's like a fire drill and people like still like avoid it. Because it's just too scary.
It's just too creepy. Well, hopefully there's firelights on it.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, and I read about this, the original attraction in Disneyland, the janitors who cleaned the ride thought it was so creepy that they asked the ride operators to keep the lights on while they were cleaning it.
I would too.
Because they wouldn't.
I'm not cleaning this place.
Yeah.
Like, clean and die. I don't do that.
But if you think about the concept of the ride, when you are going through it, there's dust and there's things that are intentionally made to look unmaintained, even though it's probably incredibly maintained. Cobwebs, dust, slime coming out of a coffin, roses that are dead. It's all made to be that way.
Yeah.
To be so run down, but perfectly run down.
Yeah.
That just blows my mind every single time.
It's pretty crazy. Interesting. So do you know why, I mean, this is like subjective, but do you know why your brother loves it so much? Because your brother really likes it. And your dad.
Well, yeah. Well, I know my brother appreciates nostalgia in Disney World, and I think my dad does as well.
Gotcha.
But it's just a really well-themed ride, and I think that any Disney lover can appreciate it for that, because the version that we have today here in Magic Kingdom, it's not the original version. It's been through refurbishments. Different rooms have been added. Like, for instance, you may or may not remember this, but there's a labyrinth of staircases that you go through, and they're all pointing in different directions, and that's relatively new. There's also an attic where you go up to see the creepy bride, and the bride herself is not new, but the area in the surrounding that she's in is new. And speaking of the bride, do you want to hear something scary about her?
About the bride? Mm-hmm. Yes.
So it's said that she's basically a husband killer.
Oh my God.
So when you're in the attic and you see her face, she's holding a meat cleaver, and she has pictures of all the husbands that she's killed surrounding her, and there's like 5 pictures.
Wow, it's interesting.
And to
scary.
somebody, but you know what? To somebody who only goes to Disney World maybe once or twice, and they're not really a fan, they wouldn't know that. But I mean, think about it. You're traveling through this little land, this attic, and you're seeing this woman with a meat cleaver and pictures of men, and you don't know what the backstory is. All you see is her holding this deadly weapon.
Yeah.
With the pictures of the deceased surrounding her. That doesn't creep you out?
I mean, it definitely creeps me out. And that's the thing. Like, I just didn't, when I thought about Disney, and I just remember, I think we went, like, the first time I went was like at nighttime, and I was just like, what is going on here? Yeah. I was just like, I'm at Disney and I'm feeling creeped out. Just wasn't sure what that was about.
What am I feeling right now?
Yeah.
This creepiness.
At Disney.
Something I also want to point out about the Haunted Mansion is the cast members who work there.
Okay.
Something I love about the Haunted Mansion as well is the cast members.
Okay.
Because they are so into what they do. They're so into their role that they play. So they are there to also creep you out.
Okay.
So when you walk in and you're just getting into the building from the queue, there's something called the stretching room. And it's when you're in the round room that has they have the round room, and you have the portraits of the different people, and then the room stretches to reveal how they died. Okay. aside from that, we're still talking about the cast members though.
Okay.
But a cast member will walk around and sometimes they'll slam their hand on the walls when it starts getting dark and the lightning and thunder start going just to creep you out more. And what they tell you to do is everybody walk into the dead center of the room. That
sounds familiar. I feel like I heard that. I was like, what?
Yeah. And then they propose the question. The narrator, the ghost host is what he's officially called. The narrator proposes the question, how are you going to get out with no windows and no doors? Which there are no windows and no doors except one that reveals itself. Yeah. To continue on. Yeah.
That is pretty scary.
For the longest time, I had no idea how that room stretched. I was like, are we literally going down an elevator right now?
So how does it stretch?
I think it stretches from above, not from you're not going anywhere. Because I've noticed that you can just kind of walk from one room to the other and it's still the same
fluid.
level. Yeah, so...
Unless it's real magic.
But for the longest time, way into adulthood, I'm like, I don't understand what this mystery is.
That's funny.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to think what else I had to tell you. Because it's every time I ride this ride, I always discover something new.
Something new, yeah.
You know something they did do at Disneyland? Mm-hmm. They had an interactive knight, like, a knight in shining armor.
Mm-hmm.
So there's one room inside the ride where there is a bust, of a knight.
Yeah.
And they had an actor or, a dead knight maybe walk around and he would scare people.
You just scared me.
In the Doom buggy.
That's pretty cool.
And then it's believed that they stopped doing that because he was just too scary.
Like he took his job too seriously.
Well, he probably did his job well, like to the expectation that Disney had for him. Yeah. But then they realized, whoa, we are taking it way too far because children are coming off this ride crying.
Yeah, that's just not what I picture at Disney. Like kids crying like because Disney scared them,
I want to enhance the creep factor though for you because I know that you already find it a little creepy, but
I'm not sure I'm going to ride it again.
But just to emphasize how well themed this ride is. So at Magic Kingdom, they used to have a ring. So like a wedding ring for the bride. One of the wedding rings was outside of the ride toward like going out of the exit. Mm-hmm. Implanted into the pavement, and you would walk right past it. And again, to somebody who maybe rides it once or twice and doesn't really care to research it, they wouldn't notice that. They would just think it's a defect in the pavement. Mm-hmm. But you're walking over a wedding ring for a theme that's going on inside. Well, they took it out.
Oh shoot!
I know.
That sucks. Why'd they take it out?
I'm not sure. I was surprised when they did because it's just a fun little thing to happen.
Yeah, that sucks.
There's also a pet cemetery outside of Magic Kingdom.
God.
For those of you not watching the video, Richie's face, he was just it's a combination of being creeped out and blown away all at the same time. And then one of the pets that's in the pet cemetery is someone called Mr. Toad. Mr. Toad used to have a ride in the Magic Kingdom, but they took it out, called Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. And now Mr. Toad is laid to rest inside the pet cemetery at Haunted Mansion.
That's so crazy. It's like where all the characters go to die.
I know, it's so sad. Thumper, where are you?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then even again on the outside, there's a carriage with a coffin, like a carriage that's meant to hold a coffin right outside of the Magic Kingdom.
I'm gonna just walk right by there. I'm not even gonna be hanging out there anymore, honestly.
Well, okay. So let's get back to something a little bit more upbeat. There are hidden Mickeys
inside.
Yeah,
that's cool.
So,
I might never see them again.
Because you're never gonna ride the ride again.
Yeah, I know. So creepy. I don't know if I'm down for it. Well, I already don't like scary movies, and why am I going to go to Disney and then go to something scary or creepy?
Well, because it's fun, I guess.
I guess, that's why scary movies still, come out and people go watch it, and I guess that's why they have Haunted Mansion at Disney. People
love being scared. My sister, I genuinely think that The Human Centipede is one of her favorite movies. I don't know why, but she loves scary things, and a lot of people do.
Yeah. I wonder if there's I don't know if Disney monitors this, but I would love to see if there's numbers of like how many people ride a ride compared to all the other ones. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm sure they do, because they have they count people to how many people to go through.
Like, I would like to see what those numbers are like compared for all of them. Actually, like, I wish there was like a list. If someone knows a list, please let us know.
Well, the Haunted Mansion, there's always a wait for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if there was a fast pass available for that day for the Magic Kingdom and the Haunted Mansion was one of the selections, I would definitely do it.
Yeah.
Because you want to ride it, but you don't want to wait in line for it, because nobody ever wants to wait in line.
Yeah.
But even waiting in line for it isn't that bad, because they have a really interactive queue that they put in recently at the Magic Kingdom. Recently, it was like years ago, but
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I part of the Haunted Mansion is how well themed the area is, the nostalgia, and as much as I don't like the creepiness, like creepiness in general, it's just, you're still at Disney World. So imagine if you get scared. I'm just going to go right over to Fantasyland.
Yeah.
I'm going to go right, It's a Small World, and feel better.
Yeah, and immediately change my mood.
Exactly.
Yeah, I get it. That's cool.
Yeah. But I mean, I think that's why there's a movie, there's a store, many stores, many items, you know. They were actually going to come out with make a new Haunted Mansion movie, but it was going to be way creepier. Did you ever see the movie Pan's Labyrinth?
Nope.
Okay. Well, it's like a fantasy film, directed by, what was his name? Guillermo del Toro, I believe. It was a great movie, but it was super creepy. Like, there was a man, like a character just to give you an idea of the creepiness, a character, his eye was in his hand like this. So, to go off of that,
Okay.
Can you imagine, though, if something like that kind of like theming and creepiness was translated into a Haunted Mansion type movie? I mean, it would probably be excellent. He would do a great job. I hope they come out with it.
Well, hopefully.
Yeah.
For you. Because I wouldn't watch it. So.
Yeah.
What else you got? You got anything else on there?
I think that's about it. I just wanted to. I do appreciate this topic, because I think that you should appreciate the classic rides, which I don't know that you do quite yet, but I think one day you will. Yeah, I think that's about it. Oh, the last thing.
You got something else?
Yes.
Okay.
This is the last thing, and this is a good place to end.
Okay.
So the overall arching theme of the Haunted Mansion is there are 999 ghosts in that house, but there's room for one more.
Oh, don't you dare. She pointed at me while she was saying that, like, don't you dare. Cool.
Yeah, so
that's interesting.
We are going to ride it. I don't care what you say.
Maybe I'll do it one more time, just so
please.
I can try to, like, see everything that we just talked about, and then call that a day, and
Ricard,
that's it.
You're a grown man. You can
I'm
handle
a grown man, but that crap is scary. Yeah. Like, I really get freaked out. Like, I don't watch scary movies because I have bad dreams.
It's not The Exorcist. It's Disney.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like, if you think about, like, relatively, like, it's like the same as like going through like real life and then seeing a scary movie. Relatively speaking, anyway. So
sure.
That is a good place to wrap up. I think that was an excellent episode. Don't forget, if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. Look at all our other videos. Leave a comment. Like it. If you're listening on iTunes, please, like, if you really enjoyed it, give us 5 stars. If you didn't, you thought it was okay, 1 or 2, fine, we get it. But, if you can, please give us 5 stars. And subscribe.
But we're not begging or anything. All right. Well, we hope everybody has a really magical day. And thank you for listening. Bye.